Welcome back to the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I am Colin.
I am Craig.
And I am Daniel.
Against our usual habit of talking about movies that came out months later, we're actually talking about a movie that came out less than a week as of this recording. We're talking about the latest swing at doing a video game adaptation for a movie. It's called Five Nights at Freddy's, and right now it is getting pretty mixed to negative reviews from critics, but the audience seems to love it. So, with that being said, gentlemen, what did you think of Five Nights at Freddy's?
It was alright.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
mid.
didn't hate. Yeah, definitely mid. I didn't hate it.
I kind of didn't like it. I guess I should say first and foremost, I played the game once in college. It was a VR though. I know very little about Five Nights at Freddy's. I didn't even know Freddy had a last name. It's like Phrasbear or whatever. I didn't even know that.
Fazbear.
Yeah, whatever. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Matthew Lillard was a character from the game. I just know that Markiplier played it years and years ago. And surprisingly, we'll talk about cameos later. He doesn't have a cameo in the movie, which seems to be weird.
He was supposed to, but they said schedule conflict.
Nah, they probably didn't want him in.
I mean, well, I read what happened. They said his name was supposed to be there because Matt Pat said that he was supposed to be in it, but he got schedule
Oh,
conflict.
all right then. All right, I guess I'll let slide. But I think the biggest knock on the movie is that it's not scary at all. It is like a cakewalk. If you are scared of horror movies, you could sit here with a straight face and not be scared. No jump scares, which is what the game was kind of like known for. I found it odd, Craig. I found it very odd.
I mean, instead of being like a traditional like horror slasher movie, this is more of like a thriller, I guess. 'Cause it's not about the character, like it's not about the animatronics, it's not about the jump scare, it's about this guy trying to find out who kidnapped his son, or not
No,
son,
his
his
his, his
brother.
brother.
Yeah, that's what the movie's more about. Like, it's not really about the animatronics, which I feel like makes more sense because I don't think you could have a movie filled with jump scares for like 2 hours.
That's
I
true.
think I think they could have dedicated a portion of it to it. Like they didn't. I think they could have maybe done like one night where he's the security guard, like the animatronics mess with him, and he's like looking through the camera.
Yeah, because
But
I know in the game you obviously look through the security cameras, and I think you're trying to preserve power because you have to keep a door closed. But if you keep it closed all the way, it like drains your battery. And those things, like I think the fox in the game sprints like crazy. I think they could have
I
had at least a sequence where there were jump scares, the animatronics were like super vicious and running around. Like they didn't really have that except when Josh Hutcherson's character Mike, those people that he knows are trying to sabotage his job
yeah.
because they want custody of his youngest sister or his young sister.
Hey, let's go break into an abandoned pizzeria that no one goes to anymore to screw this guy. But I think what they should have done, I think it was a missed opportunity, is they should have had for like the third act is they should have had those goons in Freddy's with Josh Hutchinson and his sister and the cop. And I think you should have had kind of all like they're trying to get that group, like the goons are trying to get them, but they're all trying to survive the animatronics. I think that would have been a lot more fun, especially since this movie wasn't going for scary. I think at least it could have probably had more fun with the premise, but it didn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say the tone in the beginning, like he beats up that guy who he thinks is kidnapping a child, and it's taken very seriously. I mean, listen, child abduction is obviously very serious, but it's just like it was a complete misunderstanding. He just beats this guy up, and it's like when you think about the movie, it's kind of sad. Like what the main plot of it is like this guy's trying to find his brother that he lost years and years ago, and he's depressed.
Yeah.
Like that's not funny. That's not fun at all. That's like such a downer.
Well, because
And
that's why I didn't really like. That's why I probably liked it more than I would have because it felt like it was an actual movie with like some inside of Five Nights at Freddy's movie as opposed to just a typical like jump scare movie. Like it's
well,
really like you feel
I
for the guy.
yeah. Yeah, I'll give him credit. He did do a good job portraying that just absolute like depressed.
Maybe he was thinking
Uh,
about his acting career and he wasn't acting.
Jeez.
those were actual sleeping pills he was taking.
Well, he wasn't taking the sleeping pills, obviously, as we
Yeah,
find out later on. To like,
yeah,
he wasn't taking like
he,
Ambien or something.
yeah, to numb the pain.
Yeah, he was trying to go back into his dream to pick or piece together some stuff that he can get from his dreams,
Yeah,
however that
which
works.
I will say the movie does a good job of setting all that up. Like they don't. There's not a lot of like exposition like in the beginning or like there's just this I know he like sits down with the cop and like tells the reason why he does the pills, but like I think the movie did a good job for the most part in the opening of like setting it up and like show don't tell. There's not just a bunch of exposition on his backstory and everything. Like it just kind of it just flows. I will say the movie it never felt like it dragged. It kind of always it kept going. It was I thought it was good pacing.
Hmm.
But I think not that this movie needed jump scares, but I think this movie missed out on not having fun with the premise. Like they could have, you have a bunch of animatronic killers in abandoned Chuck E. Cheese essentially, and they don't really show any of the kills or anything. Like I think they could have like shown more and like probably like went a little more ridiculous, like people getting killed in ridiculous ways, especially like the goons. Like
I
that's where
mean,
I
one
think
woman did
like,
get chopped in half.
but again, they only showed like the shadow of it. But like they didn't like there wasn't like you're in like an arcade. Maybe they could have like drowned a guy in like the in like the ball pit or something stupid like that. I don't know. I think it was kind of similar to like Friday where the kills are just disappointing. Like the first
No, I
Friday.
I do have a counterpoint to this.
Yes, Craig, you speak. You've been awfully silent
Well,
over
you're
there.
wrong. You're wrong.
This franchise is very popular with children, and if you make it like rated R, children can't watch it.
Oh yeah. So real quick before anyone else says anything, I'm the only idiot that saw this in theaters, and yes, to support Craig's claim, there were lots and lots of children in the theater that I was in, and lots of smelly people too. This movie drew a weird crowd, I can tell you that. But yes, lots and lots of children. Everyone was screaming at Matt Pat when he appeared on the screen, and everyone was just yelling like, "Oh my God, it's him! Oh my God, it's him!" Relax.
Matt Pad.
He's a YouTuber. Relax. He's the guy that said he was in a diner. He's like, it's not. It's just a theory, or he said something along those lines.
Game theory.
Yeah, yeah.
He's gonna copyright strike us now.
Anyway, Craig, you said it's made for children. Anything else you have to say?
Well, that's the big thing too. I feel like that's why if people were concerned about like say neutered horror and like gore, it's well because they want to make sure children can watch it.
I'm not saying like oh listen, I'm not saying like they need to show like the
Sound like Zack
Freddy
Snyder over there.
Fazbear like ripping out the guy's organs or anything like that. But I think maybe they could have killed him in more clever ways. Like just have more fun with the premise. It's kind of like Cocaine Bear. They don't like play to the ridiculousness of it too as much as they should have.
But see, I think
That
that's
should
what they were more balancing. They're just making sure children can show up to the movie theater.
So children can see a
let's
story about
yes
a child
yes
getting
yeah
abducted.
exactly. Let's make sure the kids. Let's not scare them with the gore, but let's.
Hey, like you make that, but it's true though. Like it's very popular. Like you said, you saw it in
I
yourself, Colin.
Yeah, I know, I
and
know.
I probably should have done a disclaimer. I didn't know this was a video game series before this came out.
Neither of
I
you
was
did
not aware of
apparently.
it. I was not aware of it. Um, so I didn't know this was like a whole fan base and everything with it.
Yeah, it's incredibly popular,
I didn't know it was
especially.
popular with children.
You know
before
why?
the
You
movie,
want to know
before
why,
I
Craig?
saw the
Because
movie.
I was outside. I was touching grass. Okay, I didn't have time to play these games.
You
I
were
was
touching
outside
grass
touching.
10 years ago when the game came out.
So
I've been touching grass ever since.
I think also with the animatronics, I think that if not maybe killing scenes, they could have had at least like more tense scenes with the robots. They're not really in the movie a lot, and apparently they can leave the Chuck E. Cheese grounds. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, what? They can leave?
I
Because
mean, I don't know how, like, I'm not gonna pretend to know anything about the lore. I mean, a local lore master probably
Well,
knows,
well,
but
well,
yeah.
even just keeping it in the premise of the movie, if they can leave, why would Matthew Lillard not just be sending them out in the middle of the night to just go get kids?
And why his sister specifically? Why not any other child?
oh, I think it's because he killed his brother. I think he wanted her. I'm pretty sure they explained it, but I think it was more due to the fact that I guess he wanted to get another like like member of the family.
Oh my
I don't think
god.
I don't think they ever explained. They never explained any motivation for that,
So
really.
do they also try to have the suits assimilate with people?
The
No,
bodies
so
were in there though. They were stored in the suits.
yeah, I think she said when the guy was looking for the remains of the children, he stuffed like their corpses in the suits and like they got
Oh
possessed by
god.
the children.
Oh god. Is that how it is in the game? You don't even know that much, Craig, do you?
That I do know because
That
people
is
said like
true.
this. People said like
Okay.
the suits smelled because like the children's
My
bodies stuffed in
god.
there.
Are we sure this is made for kids? At
Yeah,
least the game?
I
I
was
mean,
gonna
okay,
ask, why is this popular amongst kids? This kind of a
look at the
game.
mascot. Like the Freddy Fazbear and like the characters are very like child friendly. Like like Chuck E. Cheese. Like
Sure, they're very child friendly.
apparently, I mean, it's very popular. That's all I know.
So this kind of
What
reminds
is
me of the movie Willy's Wonderland, where there's killer animatronics in the movie. Nicolas Cage is a mute. He fights and destroys all of them. I think they could have, like I said, I think this movie was just lacking more just general thrills. It doesn't have to be jump scares. Just more
Yeah.
tense moments with the robots doing crazy, crazy things. And I think now thinking about it, the plot line of him trying to remember who kidnapped his brother was fine. I didn't really have any problem with that. I just
Yeah.
I just didn't pick up that he just wanted Josh Hutcherson's sister because he wants the family line or something. I don't know.
I mean, I
They
think he's
never
being like a sick person. Because remember at the
yeah, they
beginning,
never
he said
yeah.
like he saw his name, and then I think he knew who he was.
Well, he
Right.
never said his last name because he was like, "Oh, Mr. Mike," and then he like stops and like looks at the picture page, and that's when he goes, "Coffee." Like it was clear as day. Like something was wrong with him. Like there's something up.
I mean, again, maybe I missed something, but I'm pretty sure he wanted. And I think it had to do because they said he like manipulated the children. The children liked her, and trying to like lower her guard, or maybe she was more susceptible to it. Because I think most children see animatronics like that, they usually would probably freak out.
But the thing is they don't want to. I don't think they wanted to kill her because remember
No, they did.
Vanessa. Well, they wanted to make her like them, but
Yeah.
it
Assimilate.
yeah.
Yeah, which would end up killing her, but I just don't understand like what the again, this is probably going more to the lore of the game, but I don't understand why this guy like cares about these possessed suits. Like
Yeah. Why
how is
does
the guy I
somebody
would
have
just like
to watch over the
destroyed the
area?
place.
I think it would have been more, I think it would have served the plot better if the animatronics were just like more of the like the bad guys. Like if you just made them more straight bad, it would have probably been better than like kind of making them sympathetic with like this guy
Well,
is
I guess that's
ruling
how it
over
is in the
them.
game, so you don't want to deviate it too much from the game.
Yeah, because in the game, like that guy, I think he's called like the purple guy. It's
It's
Shaggy.
also it's also different for like someone like me that I have no ties to the game, so like I'm just thinking more on like a pure like story standpoint and like coherence. I think that would have been better. But I understand for the fans so they can, chew their popcorn really loud and throw it at the screen when they, see a YouTuber.
Yeah, you're Craig's right. He's dubbed the purple guy.
Because the reason why Matt Patton is because he was making these like really absurd theories about the game. They got millions upon millions of views.
And is that it? He's cut out.
Oh yeah, like well, listen, that's how like he was involved with it. Like he talks to the creator, like he's made all these stupid theories.
Not just any theory, a dumb theory.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, so I think I read somewhere that there's probably going to be two more sequels because it said Matthew Lillard is signed on for two more sequels. Yeah, he revealed he signed a three-picture deal with the studio. Oh my God.
I mean, it's making enough money where it's going to get a sequel.
Yes, right now it has grossed 89 million domestically, 60 million worldwide for a nice 149. Or no, excuse me, 60 million international, and it grossed 149 worldwide off of a $20 million budget. So it's
It's
doing
definitely
very
doing
well.
well.
Doing very well. Anyone else have anything to say?
Again, I mean, I was surprised that this movie even got made.
Yeah, I feel like again, we have to keep prefacing this. I don't know anything about the game, but I have a feeling just from what I played that one time, it's very hard to adapt. I don't know, like I mean, if this is the best they could come up with, that's probably better than what most people could come up with, honestly. Like, how do you adapt this thing into a movie?
I
Well,
just, yeah, I
there
don't know how you
are.
make a series out of this, especially with the way they
I wouldn't even make
did
a
this
series, dude.
movie.
I'm just surprised, like how they at least got something to kind of work. Greg,
Well,
you
I
go.
know. Again, diving into the lore, I again didn't consult our lore master, but apparently there's like a huge book series.
There is?
Yeah,
Really?
there's like tons of I don't think you guys realize like how popular there's tons of like books and comic books and like toys and stuff. Like this thing's a lot bigger than just some simple point and click game like when it came out 10 years ago.
Okay, so I know in the game, right, you have to survive 5 nights as a security guard. Title doesn't really match the premise of the movie. I know it's just like, oh, IP and whatnot, but
You have to call it that.
I think he's only there for like 3 nights.
You can't change it 3 nights at Freddy's.
Because I think, okay, again, I think they definitely, if you have this task of adapting a game where you have to survive for 5 nights with these killer animatronics, what do you do? You can't make every night be the same because then the movie would be derivative. That's kind of what happened to the Willy's Wonderland, where Nick Cage would just kill these animatronics every 10 minutes or so. He takes a break, he drinks his punch beer, and he goes back to work killing them. You don't want it to be repetitive, so I guess they decided to dip more into the lore of the game to create like a Five Nights at Freddy universe.
5 minutes of
Where
Freddy's multiverse
yeah,
crossover win.
where there's a guy who runs around, kills kids, and stuffs their bodies into animatronics at a defunct restaurant.
But again, I think that's why like the whole story about this guy trying to relive his memories to find his uh child napped brother. At least it's something because I mean I feel like that's traumatic. People like you're gonna root for the guy for someone who suffers from that kind of experience.
Would you say it would have been cheap if the movie had him speak to his brother's spirit at the end? Because the spirits are in the
Yes.
robots. So you like that he never got the closure, really. Or I guess you could say his closure was saving his sister because he couldn't save his brother.
Yeah, I think that's a better
Yeah.
ending. Because again, you like, but that was like the movie. Like you can't change what happened, but at least appreciate what you have in front of you.
Oh, it sounds like the more and more we talk about it, Craig really enjoyed this movie.
Like I
Yeah.
said, I didn't hate it. Like it was okay. Like if I were, I wouldn't hate rewatching it.
I don't think I'd rewatch it, but I think
Or I probably wouldn't choose to. But like if I someone like held me at gunpoint, like I don't think it'd be torture.
it wasn't offensive in
I
the
mean, being held
sense
at
that
gunpoint's bad enough, but
I wasn't miserable watching it. I was just like, oh, okay, this is happening. Yeah, Freddy Fazbear.
Do you know all the animatronic names?
I know there's Foxy. That's easy. There's Freddy, obviously.
So they're Chicky.
Chica.
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 There's the cupcake. I forgot the cupcake's name is.
Yeah, I don't remember if that was in the games.
I thought the cupcake was the best part.
Yeah, that thing was aggressive.
It was
Yeah,
funny.
Oh, Bonnie. Okay, so there's Freddy, Bonnie, Chica. I was Chica even in the movie a lot?
it was in the she's in the movie. I
Yeah.
just I just remember the cupcake and at least with the suits they were designed to move. Like who designs a cupcake animatronic that's like razor sharp teeth? Like it's like a grinder. Like who designed that?
Yeah. Yeah, when that one goon just hears his friend scream, he looks in the kitchen, he's just getting mauled by the cupcake. Actually, the one part that did get me to chuckle was when they're at the diner and Craig's boy Matt Pad shows up. Um, and that lawyer, the lawyer Doug, he just has that like look on his face. And they're like, "Is this guy okay?" And he goes, "I just realized I shouldn't be hearing any of this."
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. She's
then
like
the
break
guy's
into
like,
this place.
and the guy goes, "Well, what if we kill him?" And then he tries to get up, and the lady just is like, "No." Because even too, like with um the aunt, she just died, and they're like, "Oh yeah, she fell asleep," and like that was it. Like I also thought too, I you would have thought the aunt would have been more sympathetic towards Mike, especially after what the family went through.
Well, no,
Like,
she just wants the child so she can get paid more by the government for
I
child
But
know.
support.
that's like I guess a trope that's always kind of stupid because like the money you get is never enough. Like you can't live. It's like they're giving you like $500,000 a month for the child. Like you don't get enough money to survive.
So I think it might have been a little better if like she wasn't as like upfront about it. Like she was more scheming about it. It's like she literally like she
For
lost
schemers.
her sister died. Her one nephew got kidnapped and killed, and the other one is like, like overdosing on sleeping pills to and didn't they hint like the
Well,
dad
he's
killed
not
himself?
he's not overdosing on sleeping pills. He's strategically
And
using
this
them at night so he can recreate the very day that his brother was kidnapped. That's why he plays
which
the sound.
that's the only thing that doesn't make sense is you really wouldn't be able to control that.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
100%. Yeah.
I mean, it's whatever. For the story, it's fine. Just in real life, you really wouldn't be able to control that.
see, I think the
But
more unrealistic part is someone fighting for a child for the child support payments because you never get enough money for it.
Sounds like you're speaking from experience over there.
I mean, I've heard people who have talked about it, and like they said, you don't get enough money to cover the cost of the child. So when people fight for children to get like the payments, it's like you're still
Well,
losing money.
well, honestly, you only hear about the kind of child support payments from like Hollywood celebrities where they get paid, like Brendan Fraser, where they have to pay a ridiculous amount per month.
Well, I'm talking about like that. That's checks from the government, not
Oh
like
yeah,
our
yeah,
money.
yeah.
also, I did have a question because they never they never dated it. But was this supposed to take place in the 90s?
I 100% think so.
I looked it up. It takes
Because
place in the year 2000, so close.
okay, all right,
Okay.
because I was gonna say like they never gave a year,
Like the
but
TVs, the
the
cars. I was like, oh my
TVs, yeah, the
god.
sets and stuff like that. I was like,
People still had house
either
phones and landlines.
either this is in the 90s or they're really
Yeah.
broke.
It says it in the. Yeah, I was thinking that too. It says that in the Wikipedia sometime later in the year 2000. Yeah. I
Okay,
thought
okay,
it was 90s, 2000s. I was like, this is definitely
because
not present time.
the car he was driving was definitely like mid to late
Well,
90s.
he had
Yeah.
his headphones too.
And also they had a house. He had a house phone.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
because in the lore of the games, like I think the restaurant got shut down like in 84, 85, because like
Well,
the
because that,
animatronics like started biting people and killing people.
well, that's why I was also trying to piece it together because everyone started like, oh, in the 80s they loved it. And I'm like, if this is modern day, how is that building that had not been knocked down? It's been like 40 years.
40
But all right,
years ago.
Tommy Doyle's just running around it, biting people. But All right, so that makes sense because I was like, this seems like it's like dated in like the late '90s. So,
Wait, so in the game, the animatronics started to bite people, and that's why they shut down?
I mean, again, I'm not the expert in the lore, but I remember hearing about like someone got bitten by Freddy, or Freddy bit somebody.
and is
Like
the
he was
main
going
bad
haywire.
guy? He really like was that because of like the child possessed them? Like this was what
I
the
don't
child.
know.
Yeah,
Like
again, I was under the impression that the animatronics are just like programmed to be evil. I was never under the assumption that it was spirits of deceased children who were killed by
This
a
just
child
sounds like
napper.
this just
well,
sounds like
Colin, you
they
should have
have
looked more into the lore.
I had no interest. If
th-
I had an
this should
interest, I would have played the
that's
games.
that sound. No, what it sounds like is like that's like lore like in the fifth game. Like they had to like add something to make it more interesting. Like originally this game, like they were just like, yeah, let's just make a bunch of animatronics. You have to survive the night. Like there was no lore to it. And then like they're like they what?
Because I'm pretty sure like again we're talking about lore about a stupid video game, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it started from the first one, and like they slowly built it, became more convoluted as all lore does, and
It's like the
made less sense.
Call of Duty Zombies, where it was just straightforward. It's like an experiment that they use a new element, and then now there's multiverses of I don't know, other people and
Yeah,
zombies. Just it's ridiculous.
yeah. Simple premise that they keep building the lore to the point where like you lose sight of the original scope, which is just a fun multiplayer mode.
It's like you miss one game and then you don't know what's happening in the next game.
Well, yeah, because I remember looking at like the Black Ops 3 lore, like multiverse, like what
There's
happened?
like an alien with tentacles. Like what?
Yeah, they're fighting like Cthulhu or whatever.
Wait,
Like what did I
what?
miss? Yeah.
So let's see what some of the lore says.
Like I feel like games like this, yeah, like it's they're great for simple reasons. You don't, and I say that, with a subject that, if you enjoy these, you enjoy them for the simple reason. It's a simple premise. Like you don't need to get all convoluted fighting Cthulhu.
So I'm Craig. I'm going to assume that all of that backstory are in the novels.
No, a lot of it's in the game. So it actually was the bite of 87, my bad. It was mentioned in the first game.
The Bite of '87 is a canon event. The shot heard around the world.
Wait, how did so apparently the bite was Freddy bit the person and they lost part of their frontal lobe. I think you'd be dead, but apparently the victim
That's isn't
survived.
that your head?
Yes, he lost his part of his brain. I mean, I think you'd be dead.
Oh, so that
Oh
is. Oh, so the guy
my
does.
god!
He does lure the five kids and kills them. From the first one. Newspaper clippings viewable through the camera feeds reveal that a man reportedly lured five children into a back room on site and killed them. Although the suspect was arrested, the children's bodies were never found.
But the suspects were arrested, or if the suspect was arrested, then how does Matthew Lilliard come back? Doesn't make
Uh,
any sense.
I don't know,
The
maybe he's like a
restaurant later
ghost.
the restaurant later received complaints that the animatronics began to emit foul odors while blood and mucus leaked from their eyes and mouths. My God. On the
For
fourth
kids.
night, on fourth night, the voicemail implies that Schmidt's predecessor was killed by an animatronic. Oh, the guy's name is Mike Schmidt? That's the main
Yeah,
guy?
yeah.
Oh. I was killed by a animatronic while recording the message. The final message on the fifth night only consists of garbled sound. Oh, okay.
Mike dies in the game.
No, no, no.
Oh,
Mike receives paychecks after the fifth and sixth nights. So you're meant to, upon finishing the seventh night, Schmidt is fired.
okay. So let's talk about sequels then. What are they going to do with sequels? I can't imagine that Mike is going to come back here and still try to security guard this place.
Oh yeah, like apparently, Shaggy's dead now, so I mean
Well,
he
no, I
obviously can
think
come
no,
back
no,
as a
he's
ghost.
definitely not dead, or at least he assimilated with the robot.
No, he's 100%, his
All right,
body
whatever,
died. His
Craig. His
body's
spirit's gonna be whatever. He's coming back because he said himself he signed on for 3 sequels. So he has 2 more left to go on his contract. It's just like, what's the premise? Are they going to be leaving the restaurant to hunt people down? Then it shouldn't be called Five Nights at Freddy. It should just be like Freddy Unleashed or something. I don't know.
That's like the subtitle. Right, it's at
Yeah,
Freddy's, Freddy Unleashed. I mean, I honestly have no idea. Like,
because
if people we knew more about the lore, we could maybe have an idea for a sequel, but I have no idea.
right, because also it's like I feel like the spirits of the children they turned on Matthew Lillard. They're aware that he killed them because they told them that he killed them. I can't imagine them be doing his bidding anymore.
And again, too, like, what are you gonna do for a sequel? Like, I think you tried hard to like have this whole subplot of like trying to find who kidnapped his brother. Like, what would you do for the sequel? Like, he knows now. I mean, again, I don't think he's gonna sacrifice himself to
Yeah, his
back to the
brother's not
animatronics.
coming back. So is his okay? So is it implied that his brother's one of the animatronics, or only certain children that he killed are in the animatronics?
Well, I think the brother is one of
No,
the animatronics, right?
see, because there were
They said
how
5 children
many?
disappeared in the '80s. So
No,
there's
no, no. I'm saying
Freddy,
how many
there's
animatronics
Bonnie,
were?
there's Chica, Foxy, and Cupcake. That's 5.
Yeah, so then his brother wouldn't be one.
Unless they said when 5 children disappeared. Oh no, but they said 5 children disappeared at the restaurant.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not his brother because he was in the middle of the woods.
And you counted the cupcake?
Yeah, because I'm looking at them. It says Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Mr. Cupcake. I can count.
Mr. Cupcake.
Yeah, what a original name, Mr. Cupcake and Foxy.
Have you guys ever read like how Five Nights at Freddy's like came to be? Like the guy who made it.
Well, yeah. So that's part of the reason why I'm also surprised that he got made. Like when he got canceled. Because did you know how he what he got canceled over?
I do not. I think he told me recently, but I forgot.
So the man's a huge Christian.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, okay. It
He
says
was
that
a
he's
Christian who donated to like, you know, like Republican candidates, and like people got
Yeah,
upset over that.
but he made these games because he quote unquote suffered a loss of faith after he tried to make Christian adventure games, but they failed.
Well, yeah,
That
because
was
like if you look at the quality of the game, like all he made was like point and click adventures.
it says also that he wrote the story too. He co-wrote it.
under one of Christ. Either God didn't exist or God
Oh,
hated me. What?
he wrote the screenplay too.
Yeah, but like he still has his faith.
Oh, with his faith restored. Okay.
Interesting.
It's just funny like reading that people wanted to cancel him, and it's like that's
Can
it.
we
Like
talk about failed YouTube cameos? I didn't really get all the other ones. I guess I shouldn't say failed YouTube cameos, but I didn't get all the cameos. The only one I knew was Matt Pat, because apparently the guy in the cab at the end when he lets in Freddy and then he's there at the end. The guy in the cab is a YouTuber named Corey X Kenshin. I have no idea who that is.
yeah, I had no idea either. Like I can't say I'm proud of my knowledge of YouTubers, but I did not know who that was.
Yeah, I had no idea. Again, I guess they definitely probably wanted Markiplier in that role or something, but couldn't because of scheduling conflicts.
It's just sad that like these YouTubers are like getting cameos and like that's a big thing.
That honestly is a big thing that they went from just making videos behind their computer desk to being in movies. That's a big thing.
Yeah, like screaming like a lunatic in front of a camera for clicks and
They
views.
get paid to do that. I'd love to just scream like an idiot and get paid handsomely like they do.
You know what? I have integrity. You don't have to pay me to scream like a
I'll just do
Mongoloid.
it. I'll just do it at a mall.
Yeah, Mike will attack you and like almost kill you.
Is there anything else you guys want to say? I guess we should have done our research on lore. We didn't play the game, so what do we know?
I mean, I didn't play. Like, I know I didn't play the game. I know some stuff about the lore from like watching
I'm
videos, like
I'm just
10 years
I'm just
ago.
more curious about like what are the premise because now if they're gonna do a trilogy, like what could you possibly do for a premise for a second and third one? Because
I mean,
you're not following the format of like how the games are played, which is fine for a movie's sake. That would be very hard to do,
But it seems like it's
but
following the lore though, so I'm sure they have something up their sleeve.
I mean, if I were to take a guess at what direction they would go, I would look at the books
Yeah,
because obviously with books, you actually have to write a story.
which again I
I
had no
think
idea existed.
I think maybe they could have not revealed Matthew Lillard as the killer. Maybe they could have like you get the animatronics on your side or whatever, or they like
Yeah,
you
but in the
escape them.
context of the movie, that wouldn't make any sense to fulfill Josh Hutcherson's character arc.
Yeah.
His whole point was trying to find out who killed his brother. So they had to have Matthew Lillard there, otherwise it'd be like, well, this is unresolved.
Or what if he was the one who killed his brother? You do like a little M. Night Shyamalan twist.
He
Well, he
kidnapped his
was.
brother.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. What if it's like Josh Hutcherson was just like crazy, and he just went on this huge killing spree as a child?
Like a Christmas horror story.
Yeah.
Sort of like Tommy Jarvis, he went crazy, became the next killer.
So I think for a video game adaptation, it's not bad, honestly.
No, it's
If I were to rate it, I would give it a solid 5 out of 10, which is remember I think we always talk about this. It's my rating scale is 5 out of 10 means it's okay. It's right down the middle.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, for how ridiculous, the premise, like it was done, it was a coherent movie. I wouldn't watch it again, and I'm overall indifferent to the overall series, but it was a coherent movie.
What say
It
you,
was
Craig?
mid. It
What's your
was
final
mid.
thought? It was mid.
Yeah, like it was okay. I can't say I hated it. Can't say I loved them yet. I know nothing about the game, so
If only they had more little tense sequences, it would have been at least more enjoyable to watch, more thrills, I think. And I will say, after us discussing about the lore and all the crazy stuff that's in the lore, I'm curious to see what they would do for the next movie. I maybe won't see it opening night or anything crazy like that because I don't want to hear those children and those adults.
The children aren't the concerning one. It's the 40-year-olds
I
that
had
get excited at the
before
sight of
we
MatPat.
end our
wait, I
discussion.
have two more things to bring up.
Okay, Craig, before you go, I just want to say that I can see why people like the simultaneous release on streaming and the theaters because I had this annoying lady near me and she just wouldn't shut up the entire movie. She thought she was a comedian. She tried to be funny. It was embarrassing. And I wish I saw it at home because I wouldn't have been annoyed by her. And she ruined my movie theater experience. I hate
Was
her.
she was,
I wish terrible things upon her.
was she by herself? Was she like doing it for an
She,
audience?
she was like with a friend or something, but she was just speaking so loud. It's like, shut up. I'm trying to watch the movie. I don't need to hear you say, like, oh, don't open that door. Duh, duh.
Oh no, he got killed. Why he should have opened the door.
All right, Craig, you go.
I sure would never go to this pizzeria.
Well, two things. One, MatPat, his character is named Ness because he is a loser who has this stupid theory that Ness is Sans from Undertale.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah, it's that game where Undertale's a girl,
Well,
right?
yeah, the girl's the main character, but Sans is like the skeleton.
Oh, that thing. Okay.
Yeah, and like the creator has like disavowed this and like told MatPat he's an idiot multiple times, but he still pushes the theory anyway.
Not just a theory, a dumb theory.
And the second thing, would you still think that which is the best video game adaptation, the Sonic movie?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Or I guess Mario or whoever, because people are saying on this the best adaptation or Mario or whatever.
Well, Mario could get away with more because it's animated. This is live action, so it's harder to do like more crazy things with regular people, I guess you could say. And plus, Mario has to be more ridiculous because if you try to ground, like have the idea grounded of a guy running around in pipes and saving a princess from a giant lizard and riding
Yeah.
go-karts with the monkey, it'll look weird if it's Bob Hoskins in a car with like a guy in a gorilla suit.
Could you imagine if they actually had Donkey Kong in that movie?
I mean, they already messed up the live action the first time. Like, I don't
No,
know.
no, I get what you're saying, but like people are saying like which is the best one now.
Well, probably Mario at least. I think I had more fun and I enjoyed Mario more. But I guess you could put an asterisk on that because I obviously know Mario a lot more. Everybody does. I'm a fan of Mario stuff. I'm not a fan of Five Nights at Freddy, so I don't know too much about it to be a fan of it, you know?
Yeah, but I do feel like maybe, just maybe, video game adaptations are turning a corner. Maybe.
Well, I think I guess you could say a big leap is that they're not trying to play it straight anymore. Like the Super Mario Bros. Movie in the 90s. Like they try to make that be realistic. I mean, that movie also was plagued with so many problems, like the creative teams clashing. But I think they're playing more to what the fans want. And they're
Well, and I
making,
think,
I don't want to say like they're making it for the fans because that's something like dumb people say, but they're trying to make it more like it's product. You know,
well,
it's
yeah,
not
like
like
if
some
you watch a Mario
interpretation.
movie, you'd expect to see Mario, not, you know, a lot of these people, the creative types do these days, where they basically tell you that you're horrible for liking something and give you something completely different.
Yeah, it's like the movies are celebrating what the IP is. That's a good thing, I think. I can't speak on Sonic because I don't like Sonic and I never saw the movie and I don't intend on seeing it.
Well, people like that, and like I think again, live action's just not right for it, but
Well, the Sonic 06 had like extremely realistic like people in it.
that was the least of its problems.
I don't know. I feel like now you can do a lot more with video game properties. Now I don't know what they're gonna try to do now.
I mean,
What
to me, I think the big
because
thing is it's
I think
people
there's
are actually, like you said,
the
playing it straight. Because I feel like a lot of older adaptations, they'd always feel like they'd have to, like they think, oh, you just can't accept this premise. We have to like make it like some person gets transported to an alternate world and stuff, and then they would like disregard what made the original game fun and stuff.
yeah, it's like that lost in translation of
Well, I
what
wouldn't
they
say
want.
lost because they seem to like hate what they're adapting, so they gotta make it like, oh, I gotta make it more realistic. Gotta make sure audiences can sympathize.
It could also be that they just don't understand what people like about it,
Yeah, I mean that
and
too.
that's probably why they changed so much. I know they're still,
It
I
also
believe
is
they're
like
still trying to do a
it's-
Minecraft movie. I don't know what you're gonna do for that. That'd be
uh,
crazy.
I was gonna say that's at least like even for Sonic and Mario and this one, it's like you could tell like someone. I don't want to say it's like a love letter to the fans, but like the person who made it understands it. Like they're a
Well,
fan of it
I
themselves.
think it
So it's
helps
they're
that
not trying
like,
to. Yeah.
well, because like I think the Scott Cawthon, what I think
Yeah,
is how you say his
he
name.
co-wrote the story and the script, so
Yeah, he was very involved in the production
so was
for
Nintendo for
yeah Mario.
Mario.
Yeah, like they're very involved, so they made sure like people are gonna see kind of what they're expecting. They're not gonna get like some weirdos gonna come in like, let's make a Mario rated R Mario movie.
Yeah, I think that's what
Let's have
gaming
let's have
studios
Zack
that
Snyder.
are having their properties adapted should do. They should be heavily involved in their projects. Like I know in the 90s, because Craig and I talked about it, Nintendo believed Mario was too big to fail, and they were right. That's why they didn't really care what happened with the 90s one. They didn't care. That's why everyone was shocked that they sold the rights to that one like company that produced the movie. They didn't care.
Because I feel like other video
Actually,
game adaptations like that should have done better, like Lara Croft or Uncharted, where I feel like they're such easily adaptable properties, but people still mess it up.
Well, I feel like we talked
Did we
about.
cover Uncharted?
Yeah, we did. The problem with Uncharted is that it's like you're adapting a game that was heavily influenced by a movie, you know? And then when you're adapting the
and you
game
can
that's based off of a movie, you're essentially adapting or trying to copy what is the first inspiration, not the game, but you're copying Indiana Jones, for example, really. It's like daisy chains, you know? It's like you're trying to adapt a game and then you're trying to and the game's
I
adapting.
got a better analogy. It's like when you go through Google Translate, like you go English to like Spanish back to English, like it just
Oh
starts to
yeah,
get messed
yeah.
up.
I don't know. Those are like
Also,
because those are
also
so
they, you know,
blatantly. One more thing, and I'll let you go, Daniel. These things are like those two movies, especially, are so influenced by Indiana Jones, and it almost feels desperate when they're like straight up trying to copy that spirit and like the funness
and
of
then
it.
you have and then you have Tom Holland to try to capture that spirit.
Yeah, and you have a guy who's uncharismatic. Seems like a child is running around with a penciled in mustache.
But it just feels like they'd be such easy movies to adapt. Like I feel like you're given like a heads like for the Mario movie, like what do you do? Like, there's like no story. So like what do you do? For like the Uncharted movie, it's like, well, that's pretty easy. We basically have the movie, just gotta like chop it down, make it more coherent, and then bada bing, bada boom, we got a movie. And they still messed it up. Like
Well,
it's being given the answers for a test and you still fail it.
I haven't seen anything of The Last of Us, the TV show, but I imagine that's the video games that are essentially you watching a movie should be the easiest thing to adapt. I'd imagine. I feel like maybe that's why The Last of Us is doing so well. Again, I'd never played the games. I haven't seen the
It's also like
show.
critic bait. I mean,
Well, yeah, sure, but I'm just saying like that stuff at least is easily adaptable. Because you're essentially playing a movie, when you're playing the games. Mario, it's like, yeah, what do you do? The guy runs around, he eats mushrooms, and he grows, and he
gotta
squashes.
save the
And
princess.
Yeah,
yeah, steps on Koopas.
like I'm curious what they're gonna do for Minecraft. I think there's like some loose story in Minecraft. You have to like slay a dragon or something. I don't know.
But I feel like for Minecraft, it's kind of like the Lego movie. Like, what do you do? Like, Lego is such a broad topic. And at least they were able to do something with the first one.
Yeah, that's true. I'm surprised you never cut the Lego movie. That first one was good. I never saw the second one.
I never saw it either. I kind
Do you
of forget
think?
there
Do you
was a
think?
second one.
Do you think the Minecraft movie, like they would just like they would have someone playing it and they get like almost like a Jumanji, like they get sucked into the world?
That'd be terrible.
No, I'm genuinely curious. Like I feel like that's a premise that they could easily go with for that.
I
Oh
feel like
my
that's like
god.
just like a cliched premise. Like, because I feel like that's like a lot of video
Well,
game adaptations do. Like, you get sucked into
no,
the
this
world.
is the reason with mine. Yeah, that's what. But like with Minecraft, it's about exploring this open world. So I could see them doing that.
It's not
Like,
even that. Just
you
you
know,
building stuff. It's not even exploring. You're just building. You see the
You
stuff people
mine and
do
you
in that game?
craft.
Yeah, you like literally. Some people build architectures, like palaces. It's crazy what people do in
So
those
you know
games.
I saw like there's one where people are recreating Middle Earth.
Yeah, I saw. That's crazy.
like how much time do you have? Like, does no one work?
Well, yeah, you're creating like a literal continent.
Like that's just listen, I applaud it, like the effort and the desire to do that, but like come on.
I think it's called
That just
Artacraft. Creating all of Arda.
That's just.
oh my God. Do you think wait, are they gonna so they'll do like the Mines of Moria?
Yeah, I think they have. I remember I saw a video a few years ago, and I think they said they have the whole path of the Fellowship like done.
Oh my god.
Did they make a Balrog? Or they can't make like
No, you can. There could be like a skin
well
mod.
Yeah, but like I mean like the actual like scale size.
I'm sure they could. People can hack that, or at least add
I
mods.
mean if they're gonna go all out, then you have to put the Balrog in there.
Well, it's more about like the locations. Like they have like all the locations, and like they have built Khazad-dûm. They built all the
If there's no
chambers in Khazad-dûm.
Balrog, if there's no Dorn's Bane in the Mines of Moria, it's not the Mines of Moria, Craig.
Well, I think they've got like
If you're gonna make
Mordor.
Middle Earth, you better pay its respects. There's no in
I,
between.
and I don't remember, but like, they might have had like I know we're way off topic, but I think they might have had like the entire endless stair that's the top of the peak where Gandalf slayed the Balrog.
All right.
God,
I don't know if there's any other adaptions in the
in the
works. I
making.
think
There's
and
always, I mean, maybe not now because all the.
I'm gonna fear the day they try to do a live action Pokemon one. I fear that day.
But I feel like, well, they already did. They did Pokemon.
But like based off of
Detective
like
Pikachu.
no,
Yeah.
but like based off of Ash's journey, like a trainer turns 10. It looks so weird. like a 10-year-old running around. Like I was talking with somebody about like he was talking about anime characters and how the protagonists are usually children, but they're a mix of like adults looking like children, and that looks so weird in a movie. You know, like you see all these anime characters like Yu-Gi-Oh. He's like the size of a child, but he acts like an adult, and he has like this weird hair. So it's just so bizarre. Anyway, uh,
Anyway, I was gonna say there was another video game movie that came out, but I don't think anyone saw it. The Forza movie?
oh yes, yeah. Does that really count as a? That's based off a true story, right?
I have no
Based
idea.
quotes based off.
I there was another one when I was looking up the list. I don't know if anyone ever played this, like Werewolves Within. No idea what it is, but I just saw it was on the list.
What was the Forza movie called, Craig?
Wasn't it called like Forza?
I don't think it's called Forza.
Is that the
PlayStation.
racing game?
Yeah.
What?
I don't.
Because remember, I kept seeing all the trailers for it. It had Hopper and Legolas in it.
Let me see. Here we go. What's it called?
Oh wait, it did just come out?
It came out, I think, in the summer.
It doesn't count. I don't see it on this list. I guess here's live action. A whole bunch of Japanese ones. Go figure. I don't see it. We're way off topic anyway.
Craig, imagine live action Fall Guys.
Look, that makes even less sense than Mario. Like, what would you do?
Just imagine if they
I
did
imagine they do
that.
like another Mortal Kombat. They made one before.
They made a ton.
You know, they just came out. They finally came out with a sequel for Detective Pikachu. You think they'll do Detective Pikachu too?
Yes, 100%.
But again, I feel like it's been almost 4 years since it came out, and like two, probably it's gonna be like another 2 years before it comes out like live actions. I feel like it took too long.
So, besides our us going on a huge tangent, we already talked about what we thought about the movie, but I guess to reiterate our points, thought it was okay. Daniel, you thought it was okay
Yeah,
too?
Mid.
yeah.
Mid, yeah, you did say that.
It's
Craig,
it's watchable. It's a coherent movie. I you know I just I again it's different for me because I'm not a fan of the games. I never played them, so
I agree. Craig, what about you?
It was Gran Turismo. That's what it was.
Yeah, it wasn't Forza. Get out of here.
Same thing. Like they're the exact same franchise. Just some racing game.
What say you, Craig?
I just said it was mid. It's okay.
Okay. Well, next week we'll have our final part of Friday the 13th. We took an off week to discuss Five Nights at Freddy.
Actually, be topical for once.
Yes. So, this has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I am Colin,
I'm Craig.
and I'm Daniel.
and we will see you next time.